Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How y'all doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today we are going to go through what's in my bag video, and I haven't done one of these in forever, but I just got back from my son's wedding and thought I would share with you the products that I took along with me in my makeup bag, because I not only did my own makeup, but I helped with my daughter's makeup and I did the bride's makeup for the wedding, and this is a first for me. So I thought I would share with you everything I brought along. If that sounds interesting to you, please keep on watching. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. Ultimately, this is my self-care. This that we're doing right here. I enjoy it. I love it. And I hope that you do too. And nobody in my life wants to talk to me about makeup but you guys. So at the end of the day, at this end of the video, I hope that you've liked it or me enough that you'll want to subscribe before you go. And with that said, let's roll into this video because I'm super excited to share what's in here with you. So I haven't done one of these in a while, but I thought it would be interesting because my oldest son got married last weekend. Yay. And I did the makeup for the wedding. And this is my first time really doing makeup for a big thing for anybody. I mean, I'm a makeup enthusiast. I'm not really trained to do makeup on other people, but I do, give myself props. I do know what I'm doing, and I'm 100% self-trained, and that's not me saying I'm a makeup artist, because makeup artistry is amazing, and while I'd love to be a makeup artist, like who's got time for that right now? For school, I just don't. I maybe could do a certification online. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent. Anyways, and this is what I packed to do the makeup. Not only for the bride, but for any of the people that really wanted me to do the makeup. But I did the makeup for the bride for sure. And I was so stoked because it lasted all day and I was super excited. And the bad news is that I only got a couple of pictures. And in none of those pictures does she have her eyes closed. So I could not see the beauty of what I had created, but you guys have to trust me. It lasted all night. It looked really good, and she was super happy with it. And I also did my daughter's makeup and my makeup. So I am just going to open this up and show you what we brought. So this is kind of a what's in my bag. This is my kit, so to speak. Like I said, I'm not a professional makeup artist, so my kit is really super tiny, but I love this thing. It is a Hello Kitty makeup kit by Impressions, and it's just amazing. It carries everything I need it to carry, except for brushes. I didn't put my brushes in it. Let me pull this bag out from underneath it so that it's not so high up in the camera and we can see it a little bit better. So this is the bulk of what I brought, and I'm just going to walk through it. So first and foremost, let's start over here, and as we go through this, I'm going to put my stuff away because it's driving me nuts right now. I brought, of course, a palette so that I could mix a foundation if I needed to, and then a spatula, of course, for the same reason. I ended up not having to mix foundation because she did bring her own, which was amazing. I did ask her, I think, to bring her own foundation and a Benefit, like Gimme Brow that is like a colored brow tint, and she ended up not bringing the brow tint stuff, but we made it work. I brought these tweezers for like just cleaning up her brow area and also being able to brush them up. These are my favorite tweezers. These are by Benefit and they are fantastic. They're sold in store, but they're also what's used by the arch experts when they do your brows. And then I also brought a little tiny Tweezerman set. These ones I like getting those stubborn hairs with because sometimes the bigger ones don't pick them up. And then I brought, the flossers were for me, but I brought a couple of my Q-tips, the ones with the like edge, the ones with the pointed tip and then the flat tip, and then some regular size Q-tips too. I did use all of the ones that I brought except for these two. So those ones actually will stay in here. I bring some of these guys, this little bag my mom gave me, isn't that cute? Some of these guys for my hands, but also to clean up her face when I was doing the makeup if I had made a mistake, but I only used one and it was on my hands. I didn't have to clean up her face at all, which is so amazing because, again, I'm not a makeup artist. Okay, for eye primers, I did bring this one by Divina Cosmetics, which is something that I picked up with the gift card that my friend Andy got me for my birthday. You guys will see this in my not my haul in retrospect, in my makeup rehab, which I haven't done yet this month, because this is something that I did bring in this month. I also brought my Ulta matte eye primer, which is part of my project pan, almost empty. It's also one of my favorite eye primers, so this one is the one that I did use, but I also brought this one just in case, which is my ABH eye primer, and I didn't end up using this one for whatever reason. I also did put into this jar here, this container, some of my mixing pigment because I thought there was a chance that I would be mixing my own foundation, my foundation up to match her, and she's actually really, really fair. So I did bring some of my lightning drops, or my lightning pigment. For lip liners, I just brought 3 because I didn't think I needed to have more than 3. So I brought the Pillow Talk Medium 2 by Charlotte, and then of course Charlotte Iconic Nude, and then I brought also NYX Whipped Cream. This is the matte lip liner in Whipped Cream. Those are the 3 colors. I thought that these colors would go with just about any color of lip product that I put on her or that she put on her. This is what I brought for eyeliners. This eyeliner is what I used on her. This is the Natasha Denona Macro Tech Eye Crayon, and it is in the shade Burgundy. Her colors were lavender and silver or gray, so we went with kind of like a peachy look on her eyes with a touch of purple. This was the touch of purple, so I used this on her upper eyelid and to create that little wing that we had going. I did sharpen it for her, and I will sharpen it again before I use it, so I'm going to leave that one out. And these were the ones that I brought for personal use. Is Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On in Demolition. And then I have 3 Clinique ones, which I actually have grown quite fond of for the tight line. They go absolutely nowhere, and they're so easy to apply. So I have the Intense Black, I have the Deep Denim, and I have the Black Honey, which is kind of like a burgundy-esque color. So I did bring all 3 of those. Those are retractable, so not really something I would want to use on somebody else because they're not sharpenable, right? So you can't really, I mean, I guess you could sanitize them, but it would take breaking the tip off, and I didn't want to do that. So, and then these are the 2 liquid eyeliners I brought. This one is brown. It's the Roller Lash eyeliner by Benefit, and this one is Lancome's Ultra Precision Waterproof Liner, the Lancome Idole Ultra Precision Waterproof Liner in black. And those were just going already in my collection, so I just brought them along. And then these are the 2 brow products that I brought. I brought the ABH Brow Freeze Gel. This one I really like for when you want your brows to stay exactly where you have placed them long term and be kind of crunchy, right? And these ones, so honestly perfect for a wedding. And this one is my everyday 24-hour brow setter, also by Benefit, and this one is for more natural and movable brows, but still stand at attention. Moving on to here, I brought an eyelash curler. Can't do wedding lashes without an eyelash curler, and I also brought a sharpener so that I could use it in case I needed to, you know, sharpen my lip. pencils or this eyeliner again. I brought 3 mascaras for personal use. I'm not sure. Maybe I left the little one somewhere else. I'm not sure what I did with the little one, but I brought Bagel Bang in burgundy. This is their burgundy colored one. There's no color on here, but it's the color of the container. I also brought my FanFest, but I brought it in a mini. I don't know where it went. That's sad to me because that one I had just opened. I hope that it's somewhere else and I've just set it somewhere because I would be sad if I no longer had it. And it doesn't appear to be in here. I also bought the Lancome Cils Booster. I don't wear fake lashes, so I used my mascaras and my lash primer while we were there, but I also brought a brown Bagel Bang for her because she wanted brown lashes, but she also decided to go with fake lashes, if I remember correctly. So we did that, and the brown one that I brought was brand new. I'd only used it on her in the wedding trial, in the makeup trial, and then I just marked it for her and took it with me so that we could use it on her. For primers, I did bring my Hourglass Veil primer because this is a really great primer to use when you want that like airbrushed effect, because that's precisely what this does. It's just such a beautiful primer. It goes on, it feels like silk. It's a beautiful primer, and I love using it and on myself because I think that my makeup always stays and it always looks amazing every single time I use it. But I also brought the e.l.f. Power Grip. It is in my project pan, but it also is a really great gripping primer for around the nose and those high, I call them high trafficked areas on your face, right? So your forehead, your nose, your mouth. And I used this on her around those areas, just kind of pressed it into her skin, but this went on the rest of her skin. For foundation, I did bring 2. I brought my Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. I feel like this has a really nice finish to it, and it is a really great, like, middle of the road kind of coverage, and she wanted something that looked very normal and natural. So I brought this to mix with some of that white mixing pigment because I felt like this would probably go really great on her skin. And then she ended up purchasing It Cosmetics CC Cream, which I absolutely hate that foundation for myself, but she likes it apparently, so she bought it and that's what we used instead. So I ended up not having to mix it. This isn't what I used on myself. I actually, well, I guess I mixed a half a pump of this in with this to just create the color that I wanted. They're not super different, but different enough that this just kind of deepened it just a little bit. This is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Gel Tint. So I prefer more of a skin tint or a very light coverage foundation. So this was actually perfect for me. And then mixing this in gave me a little bit more of the color that is necessary because, like I said, these aren't super different in color, but this one is just slightly too light for me right now still, while I have a little bit of color left over from the lack of sun. I don't even know how I got color, but I have a little bit of color left over from summer, so I had to mix it just a little bit. But those are the 2 foundations that I brought. And both of those are in my project pan right now, or not my project pan, my Shop My Stash. These are the 3 concealers that I brought. These 2 are in my Shop My Stash. So I brought the Hourglass. This is their Vanish Concealer, and this is in the shade Creme. And then I brought my Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, and this is in the shade R2. And I feel like this one is great for my under eyes, and this one is also great for my under eyes, but also blends really well into my face. So I brought both of these really high coverage foundation, or really high coverage concealers. But then I also brought this one, and this one's actually what I use. This is the Glossier Stretch Concealer, and I have mine in G11. And I just feel like this is a great concealer for my under eyes. It blends well with the rest of my face, and it also moves with my face, which is not something that the other two do so much. They're not bad, don't get me wrong. They just don't move as well as this one does. This one I can't even tell I've got on my face, whereas the other two sometimes I can, depending on how much I'm laughing or crying or whatever it is, and I just knew I was going to be doing a lot of both, so I brought this one also. This is the one also that I used on her face because it's a lot lighter than the other two are. I brought two powders. I firmly feel these powders were going to be the best powders for the moment. I feel like they hold really well. I feel like they're so finely milled that they're not apparent on the face. They're glowy without being sparkly. Like, they were just the best powders, and in my humble opinion, they worked really well, and they work really well every time I use them myself. But these are the Pat McGrath under eye powders, technically for your under eyes. But I brought both my light and my medium. Light for all around the under eye area, and medium for the whole face. And they worked so well, and they held the makeup, and they just looked beautiful. So I'm really pleased that these are the powders that I brought. Let's see, bronzer would be the next step. I did bring my sculpting stick. As you guys can see, I didn't use it, but I brought it and had just recently melted it all back down, so was super happy to have it, but then didn't use it at all. This is what I ended up using, is the Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Stick. Mine's in the shade Biscuit. So I ended up using this on her and also everybody, to be honest, that I did makeup on, including myself. And this is really beautiful, and you can see the like brush strokes on here. Had I not been using it on somebody else, I just would have like put it on my own face because it's my makeup. But I went ahead and sanitized it really good, and then used it with her as well. And all of this got sanitized before I left. Some of it I used, some of it I didn't use. I also brought this one, the Rare Beauty Bright Side bronzer stick. I didn't end up using this guy, even though this is a beautiful bronzing stick. And then I have 3 bronzers. This one is the one that I used on her. This is my Ambient Lighting Bronzer in Nude Bronze Light. And it worked really well on her to not only bronze up her face, but also give her a little bit of that glow, right? Because it's one of the ambient lighting powders, and these are fantastic for just like giving that glowy effect. So this one is the one I used on her. This one is the one I used on me. This one is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer in the shade Nude Honey. You guys know, if you've been around for a minute, this is my favorite bronzer in my collection right now. It has been for quite some time, actually. I love this guy. And then this one I didn't end up using. This is just NARS Laguna. It's just like a travel size. Not one of the little tiny minis, but somewhere in between travel size or somewhere in between mini and large. And then for blush, I brought a cream blush. I brought this one, which is the ColourPop blush stick in the shade Cool It. I actually quite love this blush stick. You guys can see it's quite used. It's a nice, like, mauvey, peachy mauvey color. I thought this would go well with what we were doing with her face, but we ended up not using this one. This is the one that we used on her. This is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Divine Blush in Flirtatious. This is probably one of my favorite blushes in my collection. I love this blush so much, and this one is the one that we used on her face. It was just the perfect kind of pinky mauvey, but also natural looking blush. It went really well on her skin. You could tell that she was blushing or blushed, but not overly done. And then I also brought this one because originally when we did the makeup trial, this is the one that she wanted to use. But after getting all the makeup on her face again, we decided that this just wasn't the go-to. This is NARS Deep Throat. I believe I used Pat McGrath Flirtatious on myself too, so all these I didn't even use, but I brought anyways. This is the KVD Everlasting Blush in Rosebud. A really pretty, kind of like deep in purple. I thought I would use this one on myself, but didn't end up doing that. And then I have the Kosas Dreamland from their Blushes Life collection. I brought this one more for her because, again, it's kind of a peachy but also mauve-y color. It translates on the skin really to the color story that she really was going for on her skin. So I brought this one. She chose the Pat McGrath, which is fine. That was a wonderful choice. And then this one I also brought as a choice for her. This is Dior Backstage Rosy Glow in Rosewood. I think that she was terrified of this color, if I'm honest with you, but I swatched it for her, showed it wasn't as scary as it looked, but she still went with the Pat McGrath, which is fine. That was, I think, a better choice anyways. And then we had the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow in pink. This one I brought just in case I needed to pinken anything up or like truly cool anything down as far as the blushes go. I love this blush. So it was just an easy blush to stick in. For highlights, I brought these, and this one is the one that I ended up using on her. This is the Natasha Denona High-Gen Skincare Infused Glow Beautifier, and this one is in the shade Fair, or number 1 Light. And I used this on her. It was just super pretty. It's kind of got this like creamy cream to powder texture to it. So it went really well. It went over the top of the powders on her face. We didn't have to do anything special to make it work. And it looked beautiful on her skin. And then I also brought the Pretty Vulgar Shimmering Swan Glimmers of BS. This one is in my deck of panning, I believe. I used this one once while we were gone, but I didn't use this one on my face at all. I didn't put any highlighters on my face, which I was shocked about as the night went on. I also brought the Bobbi Brown Highlighting Powder in Pink Glow. This is one of my favorites in my collection. And then I also brought the Nomad Cosmetics Kiss of Sun Highlight in Balmoral Beach. And this is actually just a sample or a mini or something like that. I think I got in Ipsy. And I ended up pulling this out of my samples drawer and putting it into my regular collection because this is honestly the perfect size for a highlighter, if I'm honest with you. It will take me years to go through this little tiny highlighter, even as tiny as it is. And my friend Andy pulled her Balmoral Beach highlighter out, her full-size version, and swatched it. And I was like, I have one of those in a mini and need to go pull it out. So I brought this with me more for me, but ended up not using it. I did bring some lip products. Oh, yeah, some lip products besides the lip liners. So the lip products that I brought were this. This is the Oma Beauty Badass lipstick in the shade Diana. My daughter ended up using this lipstick. It's a beautiful red. I love this lipstick, if I'm honest with you. I pulled it out of my giveaway drawers, right? For whatever reason, I don't know. When I was going through my giveaway drawers, looking at stuff months ago, I decided to pull this lipstick out. And I've worn it once. I think I've worn it in a couple of my videos. And I love it. It's like my favorite red right now. So I brought it with me and my daughter ended up using it. I think I'm missing, oh, right here. I brought Natasha Denona Natasha. This wasn't used. I brought 2 of my Charlotte Tilbury's, one in Pillow Talk Medium and one in Very Victoria. These were used on the trip, but neither was used at the wedding. So I ended up actually not putting lipstick on her because it was 10 o'clock in the morning. The wedding was at 2:30. And I told her I'd come back and put a lipstick on, but she had one that she was going to use. So there's that. This one is the Dior Addict lipstick. I don't know what these are called, but this is in 418, and the color on it is beige oblique. This is one of my favorites in my collection right now, but also did not get used. I also brought this lipstick, and this is the one that I used. This is the Merit lipstick, the signature lip in Baby, and I love this lipstick. It is such a pretty, like Your Lips But Better lipstick. I use this one on myself. And then I also used this on myself, which is my Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serum in Nude Glow. I just popped this on the center of my lips, and it was a perfect match for the lipstick that I was using. These ones came along just because they were in my purse, and I forgot that they were in there. This one is my Dior Lip Glow Oil, and this one is in the shade Berry. I also brought my MAC, what are these called? Squirt Plumping Gloss Stick in Violet Beta. I loved actually having this with me because this color actually does a really good job of cooling down anything if it's too warm on my lips. I just put that in the center and it cools it right down. It was quite lovely. And then I also brought this, which is YSL called Love Shine. So they're kind of like satiny lip gloss or satiny lipstick. I cannot remember what shade this is. I'll put it up here because I have it in my spreadsheets, so I'll be able to tell you. But looking at the bottom of this, it just has numbers on it, so I can't tell you. But this was also brought because it was in my purse. I forgot it was in there. No harm, no foul, but I did not use it at all. I also brought this gloss, which is my Lawless Forget the Filler in the shade Glazed. I didn't use this at all. From an eye makeup perspective, I did bring some single eye things. This is in my project pan. I brought it with me for inner corner and brow bone lightening, and I used it on both myself and the bride, and it is always beautiful. And then I also brought two of my ColourPop singles, one in Ritz and one in Valley Girl. I didn't use either one of those. And then I brought my two Moon Dusts, one in Glitter Rock and one in Solstice. This is Glitter Rock, this is Solstice, and I didn't use either one of those. But I wanted to be prepared, and I love this little kit. I had so much fun. It's actually the first time I packed makeup in it for use for not just myself, so that was interesting. But I feel like it fit so much stuff. I just took this one out and made this square bigger, more like this size, so that it could fit some bigger products in it, and it worked out really well. And that is all that was in this guy. But then I also had like my brushes that I brought with me. I have face brushes in one side and eye brushes in the other. And these ones are the ones that didn't get dirty, so I had much more than these that I took with me. I found my mini FanFest. Yay! So this is the other one that I took with me. Actually, I took this one too, which is the one that was in use, but I think this one is dead. The first day we were there, I wore it and made my eyes itch out my face. This is the other like makeup bag I took with me. This is by Benefit, and I love this bag because it's actually a hanging bag. But I use it mostly for like hair and skin, so that's what's in here. This side is all hair stuff, and this side is all skin stuff. There's nothing in here that is really for... Yeah, there's nothing in here for makeup. I do have my teeth stuff in here too, like my toothpaste and my mouthwash. But other than that, like the rest is hair over here, skin over here. And I love this bag for that reason, and it hangs, so it goes perfectly no matter where I'm at. If I'm in an Airbnb, which is where we were staying, which was a wonderful Airbnb. I'll see if I can find a usable link for it to link it, because it was a beautiful house. It was so cozy. And if anybody is visiting wine country in Walla Walla anytime soon, it would be a great place to stay. The host was amazing. The house was amazing. It was just really great and totally walkable. And right across the street was a beautiful park. So really great place to stay. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. And then these are the eyeshadows that I took with me. Okay, so we all know how I feel about this. This is the I Need a Nude palette. It's not my favorite, but this is the palette that she wanted to wear on her wedding day, and I respect that. It worked perfectly with her skin tone. She's, you know, quite a bit lighter than I am, so I think that maybe that's just part of it, is it's a lot lighter than I like to go with my makeup. But we use this color, so this color is called Fair. Then we use this one, which is called Vague. I deepened up the corner, or the outside of her eye a little bit with a combination of Silhouette and Tender. Just a slight bit of Silhouette, not a lot of Silhouette, and then Tender. And then this is the shimmer that we put all over her lid space, which is Whisper. And then I kind of sparkled it up a little bit with a little bit of this Delilah. And it was such a beautiful eye look. I do have pictures of her, but she is smiling in every single one of them, so you can't really see the eye makeup in entirety. And I'm not really sure that she wants her face splashed all over my YouTube channel, so I'm not going to share them unless I can find a picture that I have with her eyes closed and can just crop it down to just her eyeballs. The great thing about her doing her makeup is that, you know, I have done makeup on my kids, and all of my kids have, you know, different eye shapes, of course. My daughter, my youngest daughter, has the most hooded of the eyes that I have ever done makeup on, but it's not like so hooded you can't see a portion of her lids, to be honest. And she's got really exotically shaped eyes, so they're always super fun to, you know, play with. Liz, my daughter-in-law, her eyes are very hooded. It was the first time I had experience doing makeup on very hooded eyes, and I was terrified, if I'm honest with you, because I know that you need to do different things with hooded eyes in order to make the makeup show up, and I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to accomplish that. But her eye makeup looked so good, you guys. And this is the palette that we use, so that will forever be a memory. This is the palette that I used on myself. This is Natasha Denona Retro palette, and I was wearing a black like jumper that was lace and had big flowy legs, and I mean, it was a beautiful jumper. And then a white jacket over the top of it, a white like suede jacket over the top of it, because it was kind of cold and breezy. Initially, I was going to wear kind of a plum colored jacket, but my youngest daughter needed it to go over the top of her dress because she didn't bring, it was a spaghetti strap dress, and she didn't bring any a jacket or anything, and it was cold, like I said. So I gave that one to her, and I wore the white one because that one was smaller, and this one, the white one, was bought when I was quite a bit bigger. So this palette I brought to kind of go with that plum color jacket is, I think, where I'm getting at. I didn't change my makeup look or the intention of my makeup look just based on the jacket that I was wearing. So I still went with this color in my eye look. And I ended up using these two colors here on like my outer corner and into my crease area. And I buffed those out a slight bit with this color here, which is Mod. So Rebellion and Groove were the two main focus colors, and then Mod was the kind of like buffing out color that I used. And I didn't use any of these shimmers in this palette because I, like I said, had recently received my Divina order, and these are the Divina shades that I ordered with that Divina order. I ended up using these two shades here on my eye look. So this shade here was over the majority of the eye. and this is called Nocturne Ash, and it is a beautiful like pink to violety to gold multi-chrome. And then I also used this one here, which is called Skyla, and it is kind of a purple blue multi-chrome. So this one looks like that, you guys. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. Yes, this one I have found on its own I don't like as much because because it's so like dynamic, it almost looks choppy or skippy on my eye, but look at how beautiful that is. And I just topped this color actually on the back third of my eyelid with this color. So they melted together perfectly and went with those colors out of the Natasha Denona palette, honestly, really, really well. So that was my eye look in a nutshell. And then with my daughter's makeup, she had brought her own. She brought the ABH Sultry palette, so that's what we used on her. And then this was just a palette that was along for the ride. My Chucky Glam Light palette. This is part of my seasonal palettes that I intended on using but didn't use at all while we were gone. And then I also brought with me my Moonspell palette because it was going to be a level of normalcy for me if I needed, you know, browns. And I ended up using only this shade, Sarah, out of this palette at all for the entirety of the weekend. We were gone for 5 days, and I think I wore makeup 3 of those 5 days. So I definitely didn't wear makeup on the road home, and I definitely didn't wear makeup on the road there. We were gone. We traveled Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday we traveled. So I didn't wear makeup on Wednesday, and I didn't wear makeup on on Monday. And I don't think I wore makeup on Sunday. So I wore makeup Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that is it. That is all I have for you. That is what was in my makeup bag as I left and did makeup for my son's wedding, for my daughter-in-law's makeup, and I just thought it would be interesting to share with you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed it so much that you're wanting to subscribe before you go. Happy almost Halloween. I'm so excited about Halloween. I haven't done any Halloween content this year, and I haven't even decorated this year, but Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, but it just happened to be also at the same time that I was preparing for a wedding. So thank you so much for walking through my makeup bag with me. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you and yours are well. I hope that you are all safe and healthy and getting along as best that you can. I hope that you are all loving each other, being kind humans, and living your best life. And until next time, bye friends.